It makes illegal immigration look bad, because it is. There are 450,000, nearly 500,000 children who came into America under the Biden administration, under those 4 years, that we know of, that we are aware of. At least 450,000 young kids, we're talking about 12 and below, that came into the United States, and the Biden administration sent them to everywhere in America. They came across the southern border. We picked them up. The Border Patrol picked them up. And in the middle of the night, as we reported repeatedly, these kids were sent by the planeful, private jets, flying them out to Tennessee, to New York, to Minneapolis, Minnesota, to various parts of the entire country at midnight, when no news reporters were supposed to be around, sending these kids so they wouldn't all be at one spot at the southern border, so Ted Cruz couldn't come down with his cell phone and show us cages full of kids, just like under the Obama administration, cages of these cells full of children that were sent by their parents as a form of abuse to travel 1,000 miles with gangs and sex slavers and drugs and strangers and people with measles and mumps to come into the United States by themselves. It's child abuse. And we took those kids in, and we've been taking care of them since. Where are they? There's 450,000 of those kids. We don't know where they are. The Biden-Harris administration didn't follow up. We don't know what happened to those kids. We know that some of those kids were in California. They were working in California on the commercial marijuana farms, so that when ICE went in there and they raided for illegal aliens, they found some of these kids who are underage to work on a farm, even in the state of California, child workers, child slaves in California. And the news media, of course, glossed that over to talk about, well, it's mass deportation. That's a bad thing. Wait a minute. But there's children there. We know that there were several children there working the farm. That's illegal. That's a crime. That's slavery. We got to do something about that. And there's 450,000 kids just like that. And the news media doesn't want to talk about this story because it makes Joe Biden look bad. It makes Kamala Harris look bad. It makes Democrats look bad. Gavin Newsom looks bad. So they don't want to talk about this because that's going to affect the 2026 midterm elections. It's potentially going to be a negative that could even carry forward to the 2028 presidential election. Democrats have enough problems. They don't want to talk about these kids. They want you to forget that they ever existed, just like the Biden-Harris administration did. And I don't think we should forget about them. Those kids need to be found. Where are they? We know, and this is coming from, of course, this is the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. This is their report that they are launching this, and they assert that many of the children who have come across the border unaccompanied were allowed to be placed with sponsors who were smugglers like MS-13, Tren de Aragua, and other international gangs and terrorist organizations, as well as sex traffickers. Think about that. Tens of thousands of kids put into sex slavery and work slavery because the Biden administration just didn't care. Democrats just didn't care. And that's part of the reason why they don't want mass deportations. That's part of the reason why they don't want ICE going to the bluer than blue cities that these children were sent to, so that we can find them and find out, oh my God, you know what? Those kids that were ignored, they're suffering in the United States because the mainstream establishment ignored them. They pushed them into a corner, flew them in the middle of the night, and forgot about them as soon as they landed because it's not their problem. And the major news media didn't know where to look for these kids, so they just let them go. And no one's talking about that story anymore. We should be. We should be. And as much as people want to talk about Epstein and MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're not talking about the core problems of what we're doing about children in this nation. Those illegal aliens, those unaccompanied minors, the current actual problems. They're talking about one guy with an island from 6 years ago. What about what's happening right now, right this second? That's one of the reasons why I don't talk a lot about Epstein. It's because there's a more immediate problem. There's an issue right now. Epstein's wonderful to distract people. He's the boogeyman that everyone can point at. And there are problems there that we do need to handle. We do need to figure out about what's happening with these people who would abuse children across this nation, especially those who are in elected office, those people who use the power of the government to enable their opportunities. Billionaires, individuals like Bill Gates and Bill Clinton, who went to Epstein's island some 25 times each and knew what was happening on that island. I'll give them the benefit of doubt. You've been there once. You went to that island maybe twice. Could have been for any kind of reason, legitimate business. Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, many others were there 25 times. They knew what was happening. There is no benefit of doubt. Should we prosecute these people? Absolutely. But at the same time, and perhaps even more importantly, I want to deal with the 450,000 kids. We don't know where they are. We don't know what's happening to 450,000 kids right now. Epstein's dead. Do we want to get the other people that worked with Epstein? Absolutely. There's 450,000 kids right now. That's my focus. The news media doesn't want you to focus on that. Why? That will affect your vote. They'll go with Epstein because they think that will make Trump look bad. I don't care. Trump isn't running for every elected office in America. Democrats would like you to believe that. The news media would like you to believe that Donald Trump is trying to be your mayor and your councilman and your city council and your senator and your congressman and the president all at once. That's just not reality, because they don't want you to look at, but wait, when we stop blaming everything on Orange Man Bad, there are real, significant, and important issues we need to talk about right now. And the more we talk about Orange Man Bad, the less we get to deal with these real and important issues that are affecting real children, real homeless, real veterans right now. At least this is the way I look at it. And you guys may tell me, Mike, but I don't agree. Okay. You can tell me why you don't agree, but that's where my focus is. Tell me what you think.